Closed in the state of New Hampshire. The primary there is the second contest of this campaign following last week's Iowa caucuses. And CCTV's Callebs is in Manchester, New Hampshire. And Sean, it didn't take folks to start calling this race. I mean, a lot of the networks calling it for Trump and Sanders almost immediately. And I guess that really doesn't come as much of a surprise, does it?
No, it really doesn't. This is one time the pollsters got it right. They expected billionaire Donald Trump to do very well, and he did tonight. By all indications, he's getting about 33% of the vote. Just a small fraction has been counted, but it is enough to show that he is clearly going to win tonight. Now, on the Republican side, right now it is a really, really close, really hard-fought battle for second place. And that is important because it's all about momentum when you leave New Hampshire and then you move on to South Carolina for the next primary, and then Super Tuesday, which is on March 1st, which is really going to have a huge say in who becomes the next U.S. president. But all the names you've heard, Jeb Bush, Kasich, Cruz, Rubio, they are all battling for second place. Marco Rubio did very poorly in the last debate. He, of course, did better than expected in Iowa, came here with a great deal of momentum. His early speeches here were greeted by wildly enthusiastic crowds. But all along, New Hampshire voters who, the first primary in the nation, in the United States, they take this very seriously, almost like a civic duty, if you would, to the rest of the country. And many of them attended a number of town hall meetings and a lot of undecided votes. And we saw that play out till the very end. But does anybody love the spotlight more than billionaire Donald Trump? And he's going to bask in it. I can promise you that later tonight when he gives his victory speech. Now, on the Democratic side, Senator Bernie Sanders was supposed to win. He did. Hillary Clinton, the former Secretary of State, First Lady, Senator from New York, has conceded. Sanders will probably make his remarks in not terribly long from now. What really helped him is he's perceived as the outsider. Hillary Clinton, of course, been on the international political stage for more than a quarter of a century. But what this vote is showing us is that voters are simply fed up with the way Washington is working. They're fed up with partisan politics. They are fed up with the inefficiency, the infighting, the backbiting, and they're looking for somebody new to come in and lead this country. Mike?
Sean, you mentioned momentum. There's the other M word that's pretty important, too, when it comes to politics in the United States, and that's money. It gets a lot tougher
Absolutely.
if you come in fourth, fifth, or sixth place to call those donors and say, hey, you got to hang with me, doesn't it? I mean, some of these candidates are going to have to drop out, aren't they?
Yeah, without question. I wouldn't be surprised if at least 3 left. But usually what has happened in the past, Iowa, of course, winnowed down some in the past, and in New Hampshire, the saying has always been there are 2 tickets out of New Hampshire. It's not going to be the case this year. A number of people are going to move on. But what's interesting is Kasich, the governor of Ohio, doing very well tonight, in second place at this point. But he is basically out of money. He doesn't have a great deal to move on, whereas Jeb Bush has tapped into the Political Action Committee, the super PAC money. He's loaded, so he can continue to move forward. And that could have a big impact on Kasich. He put a lot of weight in what was going to happen here. But you're right, it's exactly coming down to money. Will candidates have enough? Ted Cruz, of course, is going to probably do very well in the South. There's much more evangelical religious vote down there, much more so than New Hampshire. He's holding his own in that battle for second place up here right now. So we're going to have to watch that as all these candidates. And he did, Cruz, of course, winning Iowa. So moving forward, it's going to be interesting. And also just the rhetoric, Mike, that we've heard. Jeb Bush calling Donald Trump unhinged and a jerk over the past couple of days. So you're looking at the establishment and the guy coming in from the outside saying, enough of this, let's move forward.